another Trash Culture episode of Trash Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Nick. Like always, my co-host here is
Oscar.
And we got a guest here today, our buddy Dylan.
Yo, what's good?
We're going to be talking about the golden age of metalcore, which would be anywhere from 2002 to 2006, which my first show was 2004. It was Bleeding Through, Martyr AD, It Dies Today, and Walls of Jericho. What was Oscar, what was your first show?
First show? Like ever?
Yeah, ever.
Ever?
Like metalcore, though.
Oh, metalcore?
Yes.
Actually, you know what it is? My first introduction to my first introduction to live metalcore was not at a metalcore show. I'm pretty sure I went to go see like Boys Night Out or something, and Antarabe opened up for them. Or Antarabe was like the opener for them, and they really got me, because like everything was calm that whole fucking show. No one was really dancing or anything. It was just some shitty little push moshing or whatever. And then as soon as Antarabe went on, that entire floor fucking opened up.
So you inadvertently saw a metalcore band.
Yeah, no, I mean, but like I was into like starting to get into metalcore because this was starting with the transition from going from new metal into the music that I was into now, or
Right.
music I'm into now. Because my first show ever, I'm pretty sure, was Mudvayne in the city.
Oh, wow.
And then after that, like I didn't really go to any live shows or anything. And then it was actually, what was his name? That kid Joe that was in my grade. The off. You remember him? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Him.
I remember him.
He got me into a lot of the metalcore shit, and I went to
listen to a lot of
he had good taste in music, and like he was like, hey, do you want to come to the show with me? And then I went with him to the fucking show, and like I said, Antarabe was one of the openers, and it was like that's fucking insane. Like I've never seen anything like this.
That's pretty crazy. Dylan, what was your first show?
Well, my first show was very, very far away from metalcore.
Well, as far
my
as
first
metalcore
show, I honestly think was Neil's last show with Antarabe.
Really?
Wow.
That late? No way.
No.
No, you had a bunch of shows before that.
I did, but were they metalcore?
Yeah,
Like-
probably. Did you see God Forbid before that?
No,
Killswitch Engage?
no.
I really thought the God Forbid show you went to was before.
The first, because I feel like this is that was because
You know
I
what
think
it
that
is?
was my third show.
Because your first show was probably the most epic first show anyone
My
could ever
first
have.
show was amazing. I remember my first three shows because I'm pretty sure Neil Antarabe's show with Neil was my third show.
Okay.
So I guess I should just say it, but
Yeah,
my
just
first
rattle
show
off all three.
was Goat Whore, Watch Them Die, The Black Dahlia Murder, Cattle Decapitation, which unfortunately dropped. I think the vocalist had like strep throat or something,
Oh,
and they
fuck.
didn't play.
That sucks.
This local band called Sixth Gate, which was fucking amazing. At
Oh
the
wait,
time.
that was the
Oh,
band that had the drummer that was 16 years
Yes.
old.
Yes.
That kid was
He was like a
disgusting.
little-
dude.
yeah,
yeah.
It was
they
so
were
good.
awesome. And then there was another band called Shadowsgate that I didn't remember.
Oh no,
That's
they were
good.
really shitty, like not power metal, just generic metal band.
Yeah.
But
I didn't enjoy them.
they had
as much.
like a local following with like the dad rockers and the 40-year-olds and like the old people that are
And,
still like rocking the bandanas and.
Yeah, that was the first show. The second show was
You forgot
Cryptopsy.
that was the same show, wasn't it?
No,
Oh, was it Black Dahlia Murder was the headliner period?
the Black Dahlia Murder was the headliner
Oh, I
of that
thought
show.
Cryptopsy was your first show.
No, Cryptopsy was my second show,
Oh, okay.
and that show was wild.
That show was awesome.
Autumn Offering opened that one, right?
Yeah, Autumn Offering, this other band called Through the Discipline, which is really good.
Yep.
That's kind of a metalcore show. Kind of.
Oh,
It's more, yeah.
Winter Solstice opened up that one too, I think. Or am I combining shows now? I think I'm combining shows now.
No,
Winter Solstice
I
opened up
missed
for
the
something
Winter
else.
Solstice show because I remember not being able to make that.
No, because I remember I think Through the Discipline played that show as well. Because I'm combining shows at this point, but Winter Solstice did open up for some. I think we were seeing It Dies Today or something. I think it was. Are you sure you weren't there for that? Yeah, I'm combining fucking shows. All right, let's just
Yeah,
move
no,
on.
because I never got to
Let's just
see
move
Winter
on. I'm combining
Solstice.
shows.
I'm gonna probably do that a lot throughout this episode.
Yeah, I mean my memory's
Well,
shit.
Well, it's
Well,
bound to happen.
yeah.
The first two metalcore shows I went to, which were first two shows I went to in general, other than a festival. If you want to count Warped Tour and Ozfest, I guess. But I went to see, there was an autograph signing at Looney Tunes in West Babylon. It was As I Lay Dying, All That Remains, and Himsa. They played in Amityville where Revolution used to be, and it was
Yep.
Molly Bloom's 2.
Yeah, I remember that.
that show was actually pretty crazy. That's where I met quite a few of like my first friends that I've known for like years actually. And that was a pretty dope show, but I honestly thought that the Martyr AD and It Dies Today show was a little insane because that was at the Donkey.
And I actually remember Molly Blooms too because I also I was supposed to see Horse the band there.
Really?
I was supposed to go with Veronica back in the day. And we waited there, and apparently, I guess something happened with the venue, or like the band dropped or whatever. So like there was another local band there called the Flittis they were fucking awesome.
I actually tried to look them up the other day on Spotify, but they're not on there.
No, but you could probably find their Bandcamp
I could
or
totally
something.
find them.
Yeah, no, they were
Weird vocals, but they were fun as hell.
No, they were fucking awesome. Really good band, and they were outside like, hey, look, if you guys are looking to try and find another show, there's a show down the road. And actually, this is my first time ever being inside of VP South or AMH because I forgot what it was called back then, but I remember clearly because Revolution is
like
right up the road from AMH.
Yep.
So he was like, hey, we have found a little bar that's hosting like another show. There was like it was terrible. It was like a local emo show, and it was bad. Like we went in there and like V and myself, and then I guess they were able to get some other kids that was trying to go to the Horse the Band show before it got canceled, and brought them in there. And the entire time we're just sitting there like, holy fuck. We paid like I think $5 to get in or something because they were gonna slap these guys on at the very end of the show. And we were just like, all right. And he's like, I promise you guys, you're gonna like, like he was trying to really sell it because we were miserable just watching these other bands play because it was local emo bands and like not even just emo bands, like those older guys that are trying to be emo.
Oh Lord.
And like it was really horrible.
I probably should have gave up.
Like me and V were in the back, just like, when is this gonna fucking end? And then eventually they went on, and they were fucking awesome. Like we opened up a pit for them and stuff. It was a great time, and those guys are awesome. I think that guy eventually, the guitarist, started doing some other shit with some other band. I'm trying to remember which one it was, but anyways.
Dude, it was sick back in the day though because a lot of bands where if the venue dropped the show, there was one time that happened. My friend Pat lived in Bethpage. Animosity and Ed Gain, their show dropped. My friend's like, yo, you could play in my basement. And like the singer of Animosity's having tea upstairs with his grandmother and shit. It was the craziest fucking thing, dude. There was a lot of in that era of metalcore. I felt there was a lot of bands that were very distinct, like such as Bleeding Through, Bury Your Dead, Dead to Fall. I felt was like one of the most underrated metalcore bands.
I like them.
They were fun. I enjoyed Dead to Fall.
I
saw them at VFW Hall, I think, in Center Reach. Yeah,
that
was a great show.
That with The Life Once Lost too.
I think so.
Yeah,
and Darkest Hour.
Yes.
Yeah, I was at that show.
That was a great show.
That show was fucking sick.
Wasn't Himza on that too?
Himza was on that, yeah.
Okay. That was a fun show. I like that venue too because it was just so big.
That venue was fucking dope. I remember when I was in my first band, which is a really shitty band. Anyway, I was in my first band, which is a really shitty band, 2006, July. It was at Center Reach VFW. It was Nights Like These, Too Pure to Die, All Shall Perish, and Suicide Silence. One of our mutual friends at that show, I watched get knocked out cold, and apparently after that go into a coma. Kenny.
Yeah.
I met him. That was 2006. I met him actually in 2015 officially, and I brought that show up, and he goes, "Yeah, that was me." I'm like, "You fucking kidding me?" He goes, "Yeah, no, that was me. I went into a coma for like 2 days." I'm like, "Holy fucking shit!"
During All Shall Perish.
It was during Too Pure to Die, and then he always makes the joke, "Oh yeah, I was too pure to die."
Oh, fucking Kenny! I'm gonna shame him next time he's on the show.
How many
for
times
that.
has he been knocked out?
Oh
I
my
watched his ass
God.
get knocked out.
Yeah,
He's been
I've seen it
hit.
at least twice.
No. I've seen. I need more fingers, honestly.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, I think one of the things that drew me to the shows, though, was actually just the actual dancing and stuff that we did, and just how violent and that shit got. Like, I'm pretty sure that when we were younger, we just reveled in how fucking violent it was.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when you mentioned your first show, that was actually one of the most violent pits I've still ever been in, because Cryptopsy really, I mean, I know we're going off a little bit off the metalcore thing, but
Right.
because of that, I think like I forgot. I want to say that I think Winter Solstice did open up for that show. It
You
was
think
some.
so?
I think some metalcore band because Squad
I
was
could
there.
have forgot.
They were.
I forgot I saw Swear to God, so like I could
You
have
forgot you saw Swear to God?
Yeah, so
That would probably be
So
one of the
if we
most
wanna-
violent shows, though.
well, we can say like back to metalcore a little bit.
Right.
At Molly Bloom's too, a little letdown. He was supposed to come with me. Oscar didn't make it though.
No.
It was Invocation of Nehek.
Which, by the way, I don't care how selfish this sounds.
dropped.
Yes, I don't care. I'm so glad none of y'all
So I
saw
hung
them.
around,
Fuck,
you
I didn't
know.
get to see it. Fuck
I
you
saw
guys. I
Swear
don't
to
give a
God
fuck.
and
I
a
don't
couple
care.
of other bands. It was fucking brutal. But
Hold on, you got to see them?
No, I never got to see them. I'm just saying.
yeah,
I'm glad
no.
that
I
no
didn't
one else
either.
got
They
to
dropped.
see them. Yeah,
I
that's
never got to
that's
see
the asshole
Invocation
in
of
me.
Nehek either.
That's another
You know who got to see them?
underrated metalcore
V
band.
got to see them.
Who did?
V got to
She-
see them in
she got to see
Connecticut.
them?
In Connecticut,
Oh,
back in the day.
fuck.
Remember when they made
She's the reason I
Deadly?
knew about them. She's the reason I found out about them.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember Deadly for a little bit. when
Oh,
they
that was
made
the one they did afterwards, right?
afterwards. They weren't that bad.
But then again, Invocation also did like a few. I think like a one EP without the old vocals with the newer one,
yeah.
and it was all right. It just wasn't the same. Like the creativity with the music and the way that they presented it was still the same, but just the vocals didn't really match up. And I guess the production value was different too, where it didn't click with me as much as like the first album or the first EP especially. Like that first
Yeah.
demo album, I will play over and over again. Those three songs.
Amazing. Yeah.
Because the way it's produced, I like that underproduced, gritty sound that it had.
For sure. Well, since we're on this topic of underrated bands, like, what would you put as top 5 underrated metalcore bands?
Oh, metalcore.
Underrated ones.
I don't know, because honestly, I like a lot of the mainstream stuff. I mean, I really have. If I'm gonna really dig in, there is one band that they're metalcore to a T. Bludgeon.
Bludgeon. I know who that is.
Yeah. It's just that I don't think anyone really talks about them, and they're fucking awesome. And what's it called? There's another band too that was really more guitar solo heavy called Antagonist.
No, I know them.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
them.
Those guys are fucking awesome too, and not a lot of people talk about them. And I actually don't even know that you would consider them metalcore. Maybe because they strayed a little bit further away from hardcore. What were they called? Undermined.
Undermined was a metalcore band for
Okay,
sure.
because kind of like a body bag was like an awesome.
It's kind of like a body bag.
Yeah.
That was
I would
fucking- that is
lose my shit. That was my
sick song.
first show at AMH or VP South, whatever era you want to talk about. But
Yeah.
at that timeline, it was Village Pub South in Amityville.
Yeah.
What about, because this just came out, like, you brought that up and it just, like, cute, the Esoteric.
Oh,
You remember
you know what's
Oh.
funny? I didn't like them when I first heard them back, except for the Ram Face Boy, the main song they had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as you listen to them now, like
They're
now
good.
they're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like I was listening, I'm like, this is like, because it's not just straight up. Because you know, back then I had the fucking ape brain of like, I need breakdowns.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like because we're kids.
Yeah.
And like now I'm listening to them, like the fucking guitars are like really groovy and shit, and just the way they go through the rhythm and oh, it's so good.
I still own that CD.
It's such a good album.
So I mean they are definitely an underrated. That I didn't get to see them. I was supposed to see them at the downtown in Farmingdale with Full Blown Chaos, the Agony Scene, and Himsa, and the
That's a good
Esoteric
lineup.
dropped, and I was
Oh.
like, oh fucking great, they were the headliner. You know, they were another underrated metalcore band.
Yeah, no, definitely. Also, you mentioned the Agony Scene. I mean, they were kind of mainstream. I
Agony
guess.
Scene was
They were a little
mainstream
underrated.
for a little bit, like the first album, not the first album, the one with The Darkest Red, that
Yeah.
album.
Yeah.
That was
Scapegoat.
Yeah, Scapegoat.
Ah,
Holy
oh,
shit. That song, if that doesn't fucking amp you up, I don't know what the fuck will, to be completely honest
It's
with
a
you.
good song. Yeah, that's a good like mosh song, honestly, and that's really what I looked for when I was a kid. Like, you know
Oh, yeah.
what I
That's
mean?
all that
You
matters.
know who was another underrated metalcore band?
Uh,
Nehemiah.
oh yes,
Nehemiah
yes,
was
completely. Dylan and I were all about that when back in the day, especially
That
when we
end
discovered
of the
them.
world, they had that end of the world vibe going
Yep.
on. It sounded
Hell yeah.
sick.
Hmm.
Yeah, even when they did Lenore after the asphyxiation
Yeah,
process.
that like 4 or 5 songs.
That was still
short one.
awesome.
It was a really good album. I bought that one.
yeah,
I
that
had
was really good.
The funny thing is, you guys are the only two people that, other than me, that know about that band. And
Oh no, I mean I think they're pretty like known now.
I remember I wore the Nehemiah long sleeve that you had gotten me to like
Oh,
a
yeah.
show once, and like a couple of the younger kids were like, look at me, like, yo, who's that guy? Why does he got in that Maya show? Like, that's wild. Like, it was like this one kid who like knew like all that old school stuff that like was kind of like not like out there, but not everyone really listened to.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of cool because like I don't think you ever see anyone wearing any merch from like Nehemiah or like
I know, like I got it
Ion
off
or-
a merch swap, and I'm like, and your birthday was coming up, like
Yeah.
I was like, this is perfect, like, and it was cheap too, because
I
I don't think they
appreciate it.
realized how awesome that band was. Whoever sold that fucking
Yeah,
merch, because I
that-
got it for like $7 a piece or some shit. Because I have a Nehemiah shirt still.
Fucking
I love
serious?
that long
Wow.
sleeve.
It's a long sleeve.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
a dope long
fuck.
sleeve.
I mean, any other underrated bands?
Oh my god.
I mean, we're really getting it because like slowly we're like cracking open. Like,
I mean, you could correct me if I'm wrong about the genre, but what about One Dead, Three Wounded?
That is metalcore. I remember.
They weren't
them.
bad. Actually,
They
Dan
weren't bad.
Campbell gave me one of their CDs,
Oh, yeah.
and that's how I found out about them. I kind of enjoyed them. They were more two-steppy rather
Okay.
than anything else, but they were cool.
Well, I would say I'm gonna go to now to what is your favorite top 5. This is gonna be hard, especially for me to pick 5.
I think
in
I
this
can
era.
pick it pretty. I think I can get it pretty. Knock it out. I mean, if you guys know off the top of your head,
I could knock it off
All
the
right,
top of
knock
my
it
head. Misery Signals, Bury Your Dead, Poison the Well, Converge, Dead to Fall. What would be your top 5?
Well, yeah. If we're gonna count Converge, yeah, Converge. Fucking Invocation and EHAC. From a Second Story Window.
Oh my
Oh.
god. No, that is
What?
another underrated metalcore band. That is
I got to see them
Yeah.
too.
So did
at
I.
DFW.
Yep.
I never did.
Oh, what a show
Wait,
that was!
From a Second Story Window headline that show, right?
And I don't remember who headlined, but
There was
and
that was the
then,
only that was
I
the
just
only
remember
time.
someone jumping on a table at one point in the middle of From a Second Story Window set and like literally I feel like challenged the entire venue to a fight and then ran outside and like everyone chased him outside and that's
Yeah.
Was that all your top 5 though? That was
No,
your
that
whole
was
top
3.
5. That
Well,
was
well,
3.
everyone went off about it from a Second Story Window. So I mean, it's a
All right,
from
start
your
your
top
top.
5
Yeah,
again.
do start your top. All right, Dylan, what's your top 5, man?
oh, fuck throw a curveball give it to me all right Misery Signals I'm gonna have to say Invocation I'm gonna like have to steal shit now Invocation of Nehak I love Evergreen Terrace Darkest Hour has become like new to me I really enjoy them a lot more now than I used
Oh, you
to
rediscovered them?
like I didn't enjoy them a lot. I think it had to do with the breakdowns.
There was no breakdown.
Yeah.
I think they were more of a two-step band.
Yeah.
And
They're
I was just
thrashy.
like,
They were thrashy more.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, all right, fine. I won't count them.
No, I mean they
You-
still
it's
count as
okay. All right.
metalcore.
Yeah,
There's-
okay.
They do have metal. They have a metalcore feel to them, but just that they focus more on the thrash aspect of the metal part.
Yep.
So I still count them as metalcore,
All right,
to be perfectly honest.
cool.
But I mean, how many was that?
I think I was at 3 as well.
All right. See, why are we stopping all at 3?
And then, yeah, I think I'd have to say From a Second Story Window and Nehemiah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
On
that's
that.
good. I guess on my
Yeah.
last 2, I was gonna probably be Antarabe and then God Forbid. Yeah, because God Forbid's what do you call it? Gone Forever. I think it's probably the best metalcore album there is. Period.
I'm going to be doing a lot of, like, revisiting music tonight on my way home after
By the
this.
way, I know it's gonna sound weird that I didn't mention the Acacia Strain, but they're a different tier level band for me. Like that's
Yeah.
they're just my favorite music. They're just the top tier band for
The
me.
funny thing is, people wouldn't call them metalcore. People are calling them deathcore. Meanwhile, people don't remember that back in the day they had 3 guitarists.
Yeah, what you call it? And Life is Very Long is a very metalcore album.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, and that's actually probably one of my. It's tied for first of my favorites from them because I really love that album.
I mean, as far as anything, like with the whole scene of going to shows and in this whole metalcore scene of that's when we all started basically going to shows heavily.
Yep.
What was like the benefit or was the outlet or positivity for you?
Exercise. It's cathartic because you bit the shit out of each other all the time. Basically,
All you took away was cardio.
cardio.
That was your
yeah.
takeaway from it.
Cardio.
Dylan, did you have any?
The energy of shows, man. Just like the energy on top of, well, I didn't even dance for my first few shows. I was a bitch. I was like scared of everyone.
You were tiny though. You
Yeah.
didn't bulk
You
up
were
at
a
all.
little small dude when I met you in 07.
You didn't bulk up, or you
I
didn't.
was small
Weird.
when I started being a nut job too, though.
Yeah, but
So-
you knew
That
how to,
is
you knew how to
true.
throw your shit
That is
around though
true.
at that point.
Yeah.
You know how, and we were actually hitting the weight room and shit too all the time back
fair
then.
enough.
So
People
we-
didn't want to get kicked with those UFO pants, bro.
Yeah, bro. I was
Yeah.
like one of the few
You're always
kids who
fast.
dressed like a fucking freak at these shows and got away with it.
Oh yeah, no, what you call it? You were the why is that new metal kid here?
Yeah, and then I throw a kick and they're like, all right,
Oh, that's why. He's
never
here.
mind.
I mean, for me, like there was a lot of takeaways It was more or less like an outlet for being extremely pissed off. Like you said, Dylan, the energy of shows.
Oh, dude, the energy was amazing. It was just like you didn't feel it anywhere else.
No.
I don't know. I didn't really like meet or speak to people at shows for first couple of years. I just went with people I knew from like high school for the most part. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I just felt more like relatable being there and everything. The energy, just the crowd, the people there. And
Yeah. That's exactly how I felt because high school for me I was friends with a lot of people in different cliques, but I started getting into metalcore a lot once I graduated high school in 2005. I got into it in '04, but heavily into it in '05, and started going to shows, and I was meeting all these different people, and they were just extremely friendly. You think people in like an alternative subculture like that, like, oh yeah, go fuck yourself or whatever, some type of mentality like that. But you got welcomed with open arms. You know, people would show you the ropes and shit. If you're like, oh yeah, I haven't really been going to shows, I just started, they'd be like, oh, check out this band or whatever. And you know, you meet some of your best friends at these shows, you know, and there's so many memories that you wouldn't want to trade for anything else. That's at least my opinion. Also, for playing music in that era too, for the way that kids would move to show, even local bands.
Everyone was
great.
very supportive of each other when
Yeah.
it came to back then. Because even there were definitely bands where like, all right, these guys fucking suck, but let's just show out for them. You know what I mean? Like they were cool dudes, and you know they were trying, but you were just like, just fucking
You
throw
mean
down.
people
for them.
actually showed up for the openers
Yeah,
back in the day?
yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
We actually showed because we
Around
were all
then.
friends and we were supporting each other's bands
Yeah.
and shit. Because I'm pretty sure we just it was almost like we were just interchanging people, like with different people would like
Yeah.
interchange on stage.
And there wasn't that crap where like people like took their cigarette breaks for like an entire band set at a point. I feel like everyone just kind of gave the bands the attention they deserved.
Also, maybe it was also because we were back then. I think
We were
still
younger, too.
we were younger, and we were still kind of subject to all ages shows,
True.
as opposed to like the older shows where you would see a lot more people go out for cigarette
Yeah, you're
breaks
right.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
That is another.
You know what I
Very
mean? And
valid
we were
point.
all very into it because we were all just introduced to. Most of us were just introduced to this stuff at that point.
You gotta understand too, there was only MySpace. There wasn't smartphones with all these apps where you could see all these flyers. If you wanted to see a flyer, a digital flyer, it would be on the bulletin thing on MySpace.
Or word of mouth,
Or word of mouth.
Or you just ran into someone at the fucking Smith Haven Mall.
yeah,
Like-
or what you call it, like
or local bands selling tickets. Yeah.
or at the end of the show, you actually took the flyers and looked to see what was coming up.
That's what you had to do back in the day.
Yeah.
All of these bands back then, I felt there was a different vibe, a different type of energy, more substance to it. I don't know if I'm sounding like a dick saying that.
No, but you know what? It could also just be.
I'm getting old.
Yeah, that's what I was exactly. You could just be getting, because for all we know, that's what the kids feel like they're vibing off of everything or united or.
I mean,
however.
I just remember always hearing shows back in the day, and like the sets were just always lined. Like it was just from like start to
Yeah.
finish.
That-
Every band on the
yeah.
bill was just
Banger
like
after
Stacked.
fire,
It was
and
banger
like,
after banger.
It was pretty much like headliner material from start to finish.
He's not wrong. I
no,
mean,
he's not. I mean, like, granted, I think probably the only time you'd have to deal with a bad band is when like most of it were locals.
that's it. But
Like you'd always get that really shitty opening act.
Yeah.
It's like the weird awkward grindcore 3-piece that they just threw in the beginning.
that would be usually like the first,
Like
the
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 very
local
first
band's
one.
first show or the first opening show.
Yeah, I mean we were all in bands, but what was the biggest show that you ever got to play?
That I ever played.
Yeah, I mean
never
like
played anything big.
but you played at the Donkey before, didn't you?
Yeah, with a bunch of like I don't even know why we were on that bill.
What,
We
what-
were the only hardcore band that played. It was a bunch of like pop and rock cover bands. Like the band that played before us like covered Umbrella, and then we
You're
oh
played.
serious?
my god!
And like
This
you
is
and our other friends moshed on those people that were
Oh.
listening to the Umbrella cover. I don't give a shit. I don't know why they put us on the bill, but I mean, yeah, I played the donkey, but like that was not a fucking
Oh,
show.
God.
Like,
I mean, my first show was at the church. It
yeah,
was the church
Gloria
show.
Day. It was the first show we ever played.
I had we sucked. We were terrible.
Got his nose broken.
Oh yeah.
The teacher had to bring him to the hospital.
Oscar, what was the biggest show you played?
I guess probably I could just go with my favorite. It was probably when I opened for Ion Dissonance.
That's fucking dope.
I mean, it was technically who was the headliner for that one?
Was that when you left? Because you're
No. I was there for the whole show. It was who was
Was that the
because
Bermuda-
I made a point on stage to go. This is an Ion Dissonance show because I was not about the headliner. Oh,
Right.
Bring Me the Horizon.
That was the Bring Me the Horizon
and I
show.
said I could called out everyone. This is a fucking Ion Dissonance show. Get the
remember
fuck
that.
up.
Yeah.
Like, cause I'm because I met the guy too, the vocalist, and he was a really cool dude. This is a really chill Canadian dude.
you opened for
Really
Terror
chill
too,
French
right?
Canadian.
Did we open for Terror?
Yeah, you left. you left that show.
I had a notorious habit of leaving like early for some other shit that I was doing. Like I think I left to see Daniel Johnston because I opened for Whitechapel too.
Yes, I remember
And I left
that
for
one.
that. But
We
that
had
one,
a manager from Panera come to that show.
yeah, to me that was still worth it because I love Daniel Johnston, and that was the last time I was going to see him. So, fuck it. I have no regrets on that one. The other shows I say I regret a little bit, but that one I have no regrets.
My favorite show that I played was, well, definitely that Suicide Silence All Shall Perish show. There was 1,000+ kids. The night before, we lost our bass player. One of our buddies from Queens was going to fill in. We went there. We did the set 5 times. I could have sat out and not did vocals 5 times for a set worth, like a half hour. So that chalks up to 2.5 hours of fucking screaming.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what I was doing back then, and I kind of blew my voice out. So the whole next day, I'm like, fuck. All right, just don't say anything. And I didn't say anything. I kept just like swishing water in my mouth and fucking spitting out shit. All I remember is I was like, all right, this is like the first national act we're opening up for. This is fucking crazy. And the song was a new song. It started off slow, and locals had to play at the Center Ridge VFW Hall on the floor, and it transitioned to, the national acts on the stage. So it started off slow, and then you just hear the breakdown, like, down, dun, 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 and I just see my friend run from one side of the dance floor to jump on top of the crowd, tomahawk somebody, coming down, DDT some kid with dreads on. I see a bunch of shitload of random ass people go ape shit. I'm like, fuck, it's on. And then when the vocals kicked in, I just fucking apparently crushed it. That's at least what people told me.
What other bands? Like we got on a bunch of different random bills. Like what did? Because how many shows did you get to play?
Like as far as national acts?
No, just shows in general.
Jesus Christ, you're asking a lot. I can't remember how many I played back in the day. That goes to like 50+.
Yeah, so it's like, but back then too, I feel like, did you get lumped into a bunch of random like shows, like random lineups? Because I felt like when we started playing like we played with Blood Comes Cleansing, and I think at that point our shit wasn't really geared towards metalcore yet. I think after that they actually started getting like the rest of the band started gearing towards deathcore stuff. Deathcore.
Played with Blood Comes Cleansing.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
Those guys were awesome. That was an amazing band. Like that, I was because they're also Christian too. They're a Christian deathcore band. Yeah, and they were one of those bands too that you saw them. They were praying on stage right before they played, but they fucking
Underneath the Gun did that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were Christian
I saw
too.
them at Rockville Center once.
I remember when Christian stuff was a thing.
Remember Nate Johnson's first band?
Which one? Oh,
Shallow Water Grave.
yes.
I
Dead Water Drowning.
That's
it's
what
Dead
it is.
Water
Dead Water
Drowning.
Drowning. I'm sorry.
Shallow Water
I
Grave
fucked
was
up.
something else.
Remember
Which they're a
Dead
great
Water
band
Drowning.
too. But no, Dead Water Drowning was fucking amazing. If they ever did a reunion, which I never think is ever going to happen at this point, but I would lose my shit. That band was fucking amazing. Everything on, what was it? Black Market?
Black Market Activities.
yeah.
That was a sister label to Metal Blade.
Yeah, no, that was an awesome label. They had a lot of great bands on there.
Yeah.
God, who else was on that?
Red
Cord was on that.
Yep. I was just going to say that Animosity was on that too. Since the Flood. I think that's all I could think of right now off the top of my head.
From a Second Story Window wasn't on that, were they?
Not entirely sure.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember because I know that the first EP, I don't remember. I think that was self-released or something. And then Delenda, that's the one I think. I think that was on Black Market, I want to say.
Maybe. I'm not entirely sure on that one.
Sumerian wasn't a thing yet.
No,
then.
Sumerian was not a thing at all. It was Prosthetic, Metal Blade.
Oh, maybe they might have been on Prosthetic then.
Yeah.
They were on, let's see, Black Market Activities and then Metal Blade Records.
Oh,
Those
okay.
same-
So
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
they were on that. Yeah.
You know, Tosin Abasi's first band was in that era. Reflux.
Reflux was fucking awesome. I did not know that was him
Yep.
in that band.
Yeah. For anybody
Oh,
listening
shit.
right now, if you don't know or if you know who Animals as Leaders is, the guitarist Tosin Abasi he had a metalcore band back in the day on Prosthetic Records called Reflux. If you haven't heard of that band, definitely go check them out. They're fucking sick.
Yeah, what you call it? Because I did not know that was him, and I always thought it was funny because like the joke for Figure That Form was when we did it was that we were like a very diverse looking band, and I always compared. I'm like, oh yeah, we're kind of like Reflux because there was like a bunch of different people in that band, and they didn't down to the point where we both had like a black guitarist. You know what I mean? And Jake was a fucking phenomenal guitarist too, like my old
He
guitarist.
crushed it.
People used to like I like would hear around like people would talk about your band, would talk about Figure Without Form, and talk about him a lot. People would be like, "This
He
guy's
was-
fucking sick."
He
He
was
wasn't even like from like metal. Like we were. This is what you're gonna do.
no, it was really funny because
And
like
he was like, and it worked.
because you know
and
what
he
it was?
crushed
He's
it.
one of those. It was funny because when he did it, he's one of those that overcomplicated it. Where it's just like, we just need you to. We had to teach him what a breakdown was.
Really?
He made
Yeah.
shit like sound crazier than it had to. We like told him to do something like when I was still in the band,
Right.
and like he'd be like, okay, and then he'd
Just
do
follow
it,
the
and it
drums,
was
just
like
dun, dun.
it was just like intricate and wild, and we were like, oh,
Like out of nowhere, like we were like,
that's
all right, do that, and but because
really
at the
good.
time too, like we basically learned how to do the band as we went. Like Yumi, our drummer, was just learning how to play drums.
He wanted to only do covers. Remember when
Yeah.
we first started?
Oh my God.
He
Our-
only wanted to
Really?
do covers so we could get tighter as a band, and we were
Our
like,
bassist was kind
no,
of crap.
we're gonna make metal.
Bassist was
Well,
kinda
our bass
crap.
player thought he could slap and would only slap, but he couldn't slap.
And yeah, it was bad.
You're not Les Claypool or Fieldy from Korn.
No, it was
so
bad. He
you don't
acted like
have
he
to.
was though.
Yeah.
But like,
Oh.
I mean, he also had the space to practice. So I mean, it's not
Yeah, his dad was a huge musician.
But yeah, and then like I said, we were really diverse. And then when I saw Reflux, and I heard what was it? I think it was "There's No Sign Line in My Cubicle." I think is my favorite song from them. I fucking love that song. But like Jake does, he would just do these crazy solos, and then just the fact that it was the dude from Animals as Leaders is just mind blowing to me. Because I'm like, I can see that now.
Yeah.
I can totally see that now.
Yeah. They were incredibly insane. There is so many diamonds in the rough in that timeline of bands. You can go through the internet and try to find a lot of them. If any of you guys want to go out on the internet and try and look up any of these bands that we named, you'll probably find a lot more and probably like eat the shit out of that. Because there's a lot of kids that I know that are like 7 years younger than me. They're 7 years younger than me. And if I bring up Martyr AD or Animosity, the Red Chord, they lose their shit. And I've seen them. Oh yeah, I own this album. They go completely insane.
Okay.
In my opinion, not the fact that I was a part of that era. It's the fact that even still, if I went to go back, even if I started listening to current metal like now, metalcore or whatever heavy music, and then go back and listen to that shit,
Yeah.
I would actually pick that shit over it. I don't know. Maybe it could be because I'm older and I grew up in that, but
Well,
I don't know about that.
No, because if you think about it, it's almost like, I mean, it's a generational thing. I think I mentioned this before, where it's like they're gonna kind of bite off of the older stuff because
Yep.
a lot, like I said, a lot of stuff that is coming out now is ripping from stuff that we used to listen to back in the day.
Like Vane.
Yeah, like Vane, straight up. What else? Sanction. I mean, all those besides Lumpy. He's probably one of the older ones in the band, right?
Just
Yeah.
definitely I think
The
he's
oldest,
right?
Yeah, but Lumpy grew up with all our shit. And then he finds these young kids that were listening to the same stuff he was, and then he made the band. Kids are always listening to that older stuff. Like I remember too, like for a little while in the scene for us, a lot of people were trying to jock rock off of just old school hardcore
Yep.
for
Yeah.
a while. And then eventually when deathcore came in, they kind of went to the wayside and they moved on to deathcore. But I think it's like a generational thing where it's just like eventually there's the thing stagnates. So
Right.
either something new comes up or they go back and they try bringing back that stuff. But like you said, like Vane, another one, Chamber is a big one that I really
Chamber,
like.
See You Space Cowboy, Wrist Meets Razor.
Yeah, which is that crazy chaotic like mathcore style stuff or the really quick, fast paced like gut punch stuff.
Yep.
Which I think See You Space was it See You Space Cowboy?
Yes.
They're fucking awesome. I really like that band.
Oh, they're pretty cool. The thing is with that is that era and that timeline for me, at least, other than the music, other than the bands, playing, going to shows, meeting friends, and everything in that timeline for me in that era basically gave me an outlet and kind of saved me mentally. And which, in the next episode of Trash Culture, we're going to be talking about mental health as a little side note. What was, so for you, you would just say still getting your cardio in is still your takeaway?
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously I met friends and all that other shit. Like, my God. But I was way healthier back then. I'll just say that.
Well, that's very
You weren't
true.
even the fastest kid on the track team.
No, I wasn't. But I could fucking kill someone in the goddamn pit, which is really funny. I even remember back in the day, too, when we did track, we used to wear these things called spikes.
Right.
So they're basically just like really like they clutch your foot and stuff. They're running shoes.
Mm.
But I would wear them to shows instead of like boots or anything. Like, I would wear it because they would get my feet up faster because it'd be quicker. And on the side, I remember I put like a little shithead I was on the side. I wrote in Sharpie like I kill scene kids.
Oscar, killing fashion core kids since 2004.
And also, it didn't even make any sense because you couldn't even really see my feet because I was wearing the shitty Junkos and shit.
Well, remember Figure Without Forms intro song?
Oh, our first one
Yeah.
where we said a person we knew in school was seen. No,
Yeah,
that was
and
literally the
that
lyrics.
was
The
gang
person's name
vocal
and then is seen.
over
That was
a breakdown.
yeah. It was really bad. Like
It
like
sucked.
no, it was terrible. Like but you know what it is? But that it was a testament to what we were saying before, where our friends were there to support us and they gassed us up. Because they fucking went ham for us, and we had no right to have anyone go ham for us. And I'm pretty sure, like, the actual hardcore band that played after, what was the one that was a little bit slightly more established? They were from like Huntington High School.
There were two.
It
There was
was-
Second to None
Yeah,
and
them.
Fly by Wire.
No, not those guys though. There was another one.
Oh,
Not- it's-
You and What Army?
Yes, that's the band. They were the act. If you want to consider them the like super local like church high school syndicates or whatever, they were the ones that would probably get picked to like open up for like an actual national act
Yeah,
or something.
they were actually like
Pretty good.
yeah.
They were pretty good because you know what it was, because they were all assholes. They were actually extremely talented, but they were just assholes, so you didn't like them. I didn't like any of those fucking guys like at all. And actually, they became Now This Means War, and then they became after that An Autopsy, which was like almost like a Dr. Acula kind of rip.
Not
really. They were more metalcore than like
yeah,
Dr.
but
Acula.
didn't one of them go to Dr. Acula?
I think so, yeah.
I think it was the keyboardist. Yeah.
Something like that. And you know what's funny about that too?
Yeah.
Like, I'm starting to remember all this shit. I'm pretty sure the vocalist from Fly By Wire ended up being the vocalist for An Autopsy after their original one left. Yeah, no, I just thought that was interesting because it just all came back to me, all that shit.
And it's all coming back to me. Well, all right. Well, there you have it. We have all of our memories, all of our underrated metalcore bands that we thought we were underrated back in the day, our top favorite, and what our takeaway was for that era.
Cardio.
Cardio.
Just mainly cardio,
That's
you
it.
know.
Fuck
It's
Unity.
important,
But
Cardio.
yeah, fuck Unity cardio. But as for that, like I told you, it was for my mental health and outlet for a lot of other things. So in the next episode of Trash Culture Podcast, we'll get into a lot more things about mental health. And also within the next week or so, we will be check out our Instagram trash_culture_podcast. We will be having a live quote unquote yard sale. We'll be having a lot of like band t-shirts selling, a lot of CDs selling them. We'll keep you updated with that. So this has been another episode of Trash Culture Podcast. Dylan, thank you for coming in today, bro.
Yeah, man.
And like always, I'm Nick, and
Oscar.
check you later.
Peace.